If auto run is enabled on the installation machine, the installer will start up when the CD is inserted. If it does not start automatically, then double-click on autorun.exe. The welcome window will be displayed. You can install Identikey, view the documentation or exit. We will click on the Install Identikey Server button to start the installation. The welcome window will be displayed. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Select Basic Installation. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Read the End User License Agreement. Check the I agree to the terms of the license agreement. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. If you want to install the Identikey server somewhere other than the default location, use the Browse button to indicate where. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Press the Install button to begin the basic installation. First, Identikey server will be installed. The installer will install each component, checking each one off on the installation progress window as it is installed. When Identikey server is installed, installation of PostgreSQL will start. When PostgreSQL is installed, installation of the Java runtime will start. When the Java runtime is installed, installation of the Apache Tomcat will start. When the installer gets to the Run Configuration Wizard step, the Identikey Server Configuration Wizard will be started automatically. The installer runs a contracted version of the wizard, which uses default values for some settings. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Select the IP address for the Identikey server. This is the IP address that the Identikey server will bind to, and accept client requests on. Please be aware that the Identikey server license will be tied to this address. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. To load a license file, you must first have downloaded it from the Vasco website. If you have not done that, you can do it now by clicking the Request a License Key button. You can also copy the URL to the clipboard if you wish to download the license later, by clicking Copy URL to Clipboard. If you already have a license key file or obtained a license, you can load it by navigating to the file using the button. You can continue without loading a license key file, but you must load one before you can start to use Identikey server. Click Next to continue. This is the Vasco Data Security Product Registration site. Here you can request a permanent or evaluation license. Read the terms and conditions of the agreement. Check the Select This checkbox to confirm you have fully read and agree with the terms and conditions. Click on the I agree button to continue the registration. Select the Identikey software/filter license. Click on the Next button to continue the registration. Enter your name and company. The IP address and serial number will be automatically filled in. Click on the Create Evaluation License button to continue the registration. Click on the right-click and Save License.dat file to disk link, and save the license file to disk. Click on the triple dot button. Navigate to the downloaded license file and click on the Open button. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. The functionality that is permitted by the license loaded on the previous window is selected by default. Select the server functionality that you want to have enabled. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Enter the username and password for the first administrator account. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Enter a private password to safeguard the server certificate. Select the signature algorithm from the drop-down list. The certificate generated here is also used for Radius, Seal and SOAP. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Select how to integrate with a Radius infrastructure. There are 3 options. No Radius configuration required. Identikey server as a standalone Radius server. Identikey server in front of a Radius server. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. When you select Identikey server as a standalone Radius server or Identikey server in front of a Radius server, then you need to configure the Radius client details. The location and the shared secret are required. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. When you select Identikey in front of a Radius server, then you need to configure the Radius backend details. Enter the details required to define the Radius server. Authentication IP address is the IP address on which the Radius server receives authentication requests. Authentication port is the AD port on which the Radius server receives authentication requests. Accounting IP address is the IP address on which the Radius server receives accounting requests. Accounting port is the AD port on which the Radius server receives accounting requests. Shared secret is the shared secret between thee and the Radius server. You will need to confirm the shared secret. Click on the Next button to continue the Identikey installation wizard flow. Check the details on the confirmation screen. If any changes are required, navigate back to the page using the previous button and correct the entry. If no changes are required, click Next to continue to the summary window. A summary of the settings will be displayed. Click Finish to complete the configuration. The configuration wizard will apply configuration settings to Identikey server. It will also deploy the administration web interface application to the Apache Tomcat web server and configure it to connect to the installed Identikey server with a generated self-signed server certificate. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Import the proper DPX files. Click on the Next button to continue the installation. Click on the Finish button to finish the installation. Do not forget to change the default database administrator account password. Open the Control Panel, Administrative Tools. Double-click Data Sources. Select the System DSN tab. Select the Identikey server entry. Click on Configure. A single database administrator account is created when the embedded database is installed. This account is used to connect to the database. The username is DigiPass and the password, DigiPassword. You should change the password to another. If you change the password, you need to change the password in Identikey too. You will need to start the Identikey server configuration, if you want to change the password of the database connection in Identikey. Select the storage section. Select the Identikey server entry. Click on Edit. Here you can change the password used for the database connection.